Art is thriving in the Cedar Valley. It's everywhere. But if you don't know where to look, you could miss it. This is your local arts perspective. This is the Arts Overlook.
Welcome to the Arts Overlook. I'm your host, Jordan Ray. The Hearst Center for the Arts has a new exhibition that might just challenge you to look at things from a different point of view. We were there to get a first-hand look at the works of the 4 creative artists who use technology with unique perspectives to create art. The exhibit is called Viewpoints.
We're really excited for this show. It's something really different for the Hearst Center. It was kind of loosely inspired by the artwork of a very well-known American abstract painter, Georgia O'Keeffe. Seems a little strange for us, but Georgia O'Keeffe's landscapes really took a dramatic shift after she experienced flight for the first time. So in the late 80s, she had her first experience flying, and looking down at the landscape through the clouds changed the way she thought about the sky. And she was inspired to create a new series of artwork based on abstract patterns of clouds as seen from above. And talking about Georgia O'Keeffe's work with our exhibition curator, Emily Drennan, we got thinking about doing a show that featured artists who had experiences with technology or who are using technology to create artworks that force viewers to think about our natural surroundings and our world in new ways. This show features 4 artists who are using technology to present artworks to viewers that really should change the way you think about the world. One artist in particular whose work in this show really kind of changed the way I think about our natural environment is a local artist, Lynn Brandt. He's actually emeritus professor of geology from the University of Northern Iowa. And his work involves photography and photographing through a microscope. So the images that are on display as part of this exhibition are things like diatoms, which were new to me, but really beautiful abstract images of tiny, tiny, tiny bits of our natural world. Another one of our artists is a young artist. He's a creative director and a designer based out of New York City. And his work really has to do more with his hobby. He's a runner, and he uses GPS technology to map his runs. A lot of us do that with running or walking or biking, but we don't usually think about those maps as an opportunity for creativity. But Jean-Lou does, and he actually pre-plans his routes and maps his routes out using an iPad and Google Earth, using different streets and trails to create pictograms. So he's done a series of those in different cities. Some of them are memorials, some of them are just for fun. But we reached out to Gene and asked him to design one for Cedar Falls, and he did. So we're really excited to have that as part of the show. That piece is also a collaboration with a group of runners here in Cedar Falls who ran the route to actually create the pictogram. So we were really excited to collaborate with the Runners Flat to create that artwork. And anybody who ran the route is considered an artistic collaborator, and their names will be on the wall. The group met a couple weeks ago. It was the day after a snowstorm. So it was very, very cold, and we all met in Pfeiffer Park in Cedar Falls at 7 o'clock in the morning, and there were about 15 or 20 people there, and they all took off and did the run in the snow, so it was really fun. He has a feature video on Vox, and we were watching that one evening actually, and just thought, how cool would it be to reach out to somebody like Gene to do something like that for Cedar Falls? And so we did, and he was super excited to do that for us. So Charlie Curtis used to live here. She lives in Richmond, Virginia now. She was a photogrammetrist for ASI, for Aerial Services here in town. So in her professional work with ASI, she did a lot of looking at aerial photography and Google Maps and working with contour maps. And her artwork definitely relates to that past work she did. It's inspired very much by contour lines and terrain maps. So she does work actually on site, drawings on the natural landscape, and then she photographs them. She also does these really great 3D paintings. And so we'll have a variety of things in the exhibition by Charlie. One thing we're really excited for is a stereo view of one of her installations. So a lot of the artwork in this show not only is inspired by the way artists are using technology to create work, but in many cases, viewers will also have to interact with technology to view the work. There's a fourth one, and this is the one that I'm really excited about, really glad that he's participating in this show, and his name's Will Pappenheimer. He's an artist in Boston. He teaches at Pace University. He is one of the early adopters of augmented reality in the arts. And his piece is not physically in the gallery. There will be a location for you to view it and an iPad to use to see his work, but his work exists in augmented reality. And that's all I'll say about it. You'll have to come to see what that's all about. This is a really easy show to enter into. You know, something as simple as maps of running routes, you know, isn't very intimidating. If you think perhaps that an art gallery is something that you can't relate to, I think you'll be really surprised if you come to the Hearst Center. There's really something for everybody. And it is artwork, it is creative. So I'm hoping that people will think outside of the bounds of maybe what they typically expect at the Art Center and come in and see what's going on.
Viewpoints will be open to the public from now until March 24th. The exhibition is free and open to the public. To find out all about what's happening at the Hearst Center, you can find information online at thehearst.org. That's all for this edition of the Arts Overlook. I'm Jordan Ray. Thanks for watching.